G'day, it's FIDE Master John Curtis, and what I'm doing here is I'm going to have a look at a game here against teyfel. I had the white pieces, and it's an instructional video on how to observe what your opponent's doing and plan ahead to respond. Just within one or two moves, not too far ahead in your thinking, but how to respond to your opponent's ideas. And to identify if your opponent makes a mistake where they're not coordinating their pieces correctly, okay? So here we go. Right, e4, knight to f, and e5, attacking the pawn. So we've got the Alekhines defense, the idea being that black can manoeuvres his knight around the board and hopes that to encourage the white pieces to move forwards and overextend their position so you can counterattack the centre, okay? And my opponent doesn't really do a good job of this here in this game. So I played d4, and now he plays knight back. He preempts the move c4. So what he's saying is, oh, you're going to play pawn here. Well, I'm going to move back before you even do that, just to see what you're going to do. I thought, well, okay, right. Then I'll play knight to f3. And the engine says that that's the best move, okay? So we go into the engine's saying that's the best move. Okay, so knight to f6 is played. e5, knight there, d4, knight b6, and now knight f3, star move. Now, you saw the arrow, it's indicating a4, and yes, we do it, where we want to attack that knight. Well, he prevents us doing so. He prevents a5, which would have gained a whole lot more space. He is 2,184, teyfel. He's from teyfel. He's from the United Kingdom. I played pawn takes pawn here. The whole idea is he can recapture three different ways. He can capture with the e-pawn, the c-pawn, or the d-pawn. I'm going to stop here just for a second, and you tell me which way you would recapture the pawn. How would you recapture it? Just think about it. Which way would you take that pawn? And why? Okay, for those that understand chess, the best way to take it is with the e-pawn. Okay, because then you only have one move with the bishop and two moves to castle. Well, look what he did. He's 2,184 rating. He took with the c-pawn. I thought, you beauty. I thought, you give me a little bit of time and now I can get rapid development with a check, okay, and I can castle. So, but still, just because I think I can get rapid development with a check and castle, doesn't mean I will castle. I'm going to see what he does first, and I respond in kind to what my opponent plays. And here it's very important. He plays the knight there. He chooses not to play bishop here because he doesn't want me to exchange the bishops, right? Okay? Now, this is a faulty idea because bishop there is the natural move, okay? You can't play knight here because of pawn here and the knight's pinned. You would take the knight off, you see? So there's only two moves in the position, really, and that's knight here or bishop here. Well, you wouldn't put your queen in, would you? Anyway, again, just like the pawn takes d-pawn, he had three different ways of taking it. We give him a check, and he's got three different ways or two different ways of interposing a piece to his king, because his king can't move out. And he chooses the wrong one. He plays knight there. What's wrong with that? Well, what's wrong is his bishop on c8 can't move. If his bishop on c8 can't move, well then his castle over here can't move either. And this knight can't go there, it can't go there, it can't go there, it can't go here, and it can't go there. It can only go here, one square. So what do? Do I castle? No, I limit the last square that the knight here can go. So now the knight's got nowhere to go. Okay, so I'm actually threatening pawn here. I'm threatening pawn here. It wins the knight, right? Except he can go here. But he's still got a castle because remember he captured the wrong pawn on d6. He captured with the wrong pawn. So here we go. He played g6. He thinks, oh, well, my knight can go here. Well, I'll play knight here then. I'm not going to castle. He probably expected me to castle. He thought, oh, he'll probably castle. No, I thought, well, no, I'm just going to cover these squares because you're all congested in here. So my moves are reacting to his moves. He hasn't castled, so I don't have to react or castle. There's no pieces that he's got within that whole area, not one little piece that's affecting my king. So there's no need for me to castle. I'm better off to play developing moves and try to create threats. So what does my opponent do? Well, he just goes ahead. This is what beginners do too. He goes ahead with his own plan, bishop g7. Well, pawn to... My reply is pawn here. And then he looks at the board and he says, oh no, I've lost a piece, and he resigned. That's right. So that took... it's c4. So that took c4, c5, yeah. White's 10th move. So he lost well, he only played 9 moves, I played 10. So he lost in 10 moves. So that's how you beat someone 2,184 in 10 moves. Just being observant and just looking at the squares and saying which squares do I cover and how can I cover this a little bit better, and just responding to what your opponent's doing and looking out for what you can do that might be threatening or deadly. Okay, right, I hope you enjoyed that game. It's only a short one, but it's a good little lesson for beginners. And now we're just going to go back here and we're going to have a look at the last game that I played. I only played this morning. And this game is against B2G7 from Canada. And it's a Sicilian Nyezhmetdinov-Rossolimo attack. And I won't spoil that for you. I'll get out of that position. Right, and I'm just going to show you what we did here to choke my opponent like chicken. And that's only an expression, right? So Grandmaster Nigel Short used that expression during the candidates tournament. He says the Russians used to say, I will choke you. How will I choke you? I will choke you like chicken. I love it. I love it. I think it's so cute. Anyway, he played c5. So I played knight f3. And I thought, all right then, it's Sicilian. And he played knight c6. I thought, hello. I don't like that variation. I thought I'll put my bishop out there and like a little Y. Lopez variation, except the pawn's on c5. Anyway, they call it the Sicilian Nyezhmetdinov-Rossolimo attack. So he played e6, and I thought, hello, what does that do? And I thought, straight away I recognised that this bishop has 2 pawns in front of it, right? And a pawn over here, and it's a bit of a dead bishop. So I thought, oh, if I could get a pawn on here later on and capture that knight, that bishop's going to be dead for the whole game, and that bishop will lock in that rook, and he won't be able to move. I thought, I only need him to do one stupid move, right? Like a6, and help me a little bit. So I thought, okay, I'll see what he does. So I played c3 as a waiting move, just to see what he's doing, and also to prepare d4, okay? So it's got 2 purposes. Anyway, he played a6, and I thought, he's not threatened by c3, but he doesn't understand what I'm planning. So now he takes the knight, and now pawn takes back. Well, here, I want to play this pawn move, right? But he can play queen to d3, and I didn't want that, okay? I didn't want that. So I thought, well, I'm threatening this anyway, and how can he stop it? So I thought, well, I'll play a little sneaky waiting move, d3. My idea is to play e5 and lock all those pieces in. Lock all those pieces in a box, all trapped by one pawn. Right, that's right, one pawn holding back a castle and 4 pawns and a bishop. One pawn. And so that gives me a huge advantage if my pieces can maneuver with the extra space over to his king. Okay? All right then, so he played knight to f6, and I thought, great, I can play pawn to king 5, which is my main plan, and I get a tempo hitting his knight to doing it. So he's helping me. I thought, you beauty. So then he played knight back. And remember, this guy's 2181. But it doesn't matter what their ratings are. The position plays itself. All you've got to do is play the position. So I castled. I thought that's important to castle before I commence operations. I've got to make sure that there's no counter-attack to my position. So anyway, he played bishop there. Now, a lot of players would play a move like d4, and that actually frees up the opponent's position. But to lock it in properly, you play rook e1, right? And now he castles, okay? He castles. Okay. He's castled. b3. Now, why did I play that move? Well, it's an excellent move, not the best. Bishop f4 is best, but I was a bit concerned about g5, I'll be honest with you. I didn't have a bishop, white square bishop, to attack his king, and I thought, oh, it looks weak, but I don't want him coming out too quick. I want to press and squeeze him, choke him like chicken, right? I laugh when I hear that phrase. Anyway, I played c4. He played b5. That was a star move, actually. And I played c4. And the point is, again, try to keep these pawns on these types of squares because he can't move his bishop out, see? He can't get his bishop out. Right, see, I've locked his bishop in. That means his rook's trapped. I still have to get my pieces working now, right? So here I go. Queen c7. I played bishop to b2. That's a star move. It's the best move on the board. And it attacks the king. Indirectly, it's attacking the king. And you're going to see a masterful move here, one which I missed. I played queen e2. Right? A reason why I played queen e2, several reasons. One is I can transfer my queen over to the king side, right, in some variations. Two, by moving my queen here, I can prepare knight here and rook here to hold my d-pawn. Right? In other words, I'm manoeuvring all my pieces to get them to work in the open position, which my opponent hasn't got. Remember, he's all tied in by one pawn. All his pieces are locked into this little box, right? And have a look over here. In this box, his king is naked. So if I can transfer my pieces over to his little box over there, I win. Okay, that's the idea. Anyway, so he played knight back there. He's transferred one knight over to his king. I think he recognises his king's a bit weak. But the trouble is, it's not so much of recognising it's weak, it's the defensive formation. So he plays knight to g6. So I think, oh, hold on, what's he up to? Oh, I know what he's doing. He's threatening knight here, attacks the queen, and then he wins a pawn. Genius. So I thought, well, I could play pawn here and be obvious and just kill his knight, but I thought, no, I'll encourage his knight to make a bad move. So I played rook there, already protecting the pawn before he hits me. And so if he hits me with the knight, I can just gain time with queen to e3 and boot him backwards and gain momentum as well with the position. Okay, but he didn't do that. He played bishop there. I thought, what a lovely bishop. What a wasted move. It does absolutely nothing, this move. He's allowed the rook to go here, which is blocked by all these pieces. 5 of them. So that rook's going nowhere quick. And he moved the bishop here, and it does nothing. It can't go anywhere either, and doesn't have any effect whatsoever on my king side or anything, because it's all blocked up. He's got more. He's choking like a chicken. Anyway, so I played g6 just to prevent the knight move, but more importantly to support h4, h5. All right, and that's a genius move according to the engine. And then he played rook there, and I thought, oh, all right, then I'll play h4. And he played h6, and I thought, star move? What are you doing, buddy? And I thought, great, I'll play h5. It said knight to e4 was excellent and a better move, but I was happy with h5. His knight had to go back. Well, that's where it came from. So basically, it's an exercise in futility as far as I'm concerned. So I played knight to e4, star move. And this is where I missed the best move. He played a5. This is how choked his position is. He's desperate to try to come out of that corner. And he's got no time to do it. Had I seen this move, I would have played it. But knight checks. Knight checks is the engine's best move. And you'll see what I played. I didn't check. I played a4. But knight checks is the best move. And after, the reason being, and I'll show you why. Knight checks, we'll take that back. Play knight checks. If pawn takes pawn, clearing move for the e5 square. Now his bishop's on prise. If he takes it with, and I take with the bishop, well, I'm clearly winning. Now he can play bishop here, but I can play knight here. Now I'm threatening his rook, but I'm also threatening check and mate there, right? And he can't stop it. His position collapses in a terrible screaming heap. Absolutely dead lost. So I missed the rotten move. I planned for it. I blocked him all up on the queen side. I transferred all my pieces over to the king side logically, right? And then I've got my 2 knights there, and I'm ready to infiltrate, and I didn't do it because I didn't see it. So I played pawn there, and he played queen to b6. So he's given me another chance at it. So again, I can play knight check. And I played a silly bishop move. I know it looks ridiculous, but I had plans that if he took the pawn and played queen here, I'd hit his queen and chase his queen around the board and win a queen or something. Anyway, he played rook there, and slowly he's extricated one of his pieces in the corner. And he wants to come down in the d-pawn. Okay, so I should play that knight check again. It wins again. It's just sitting there waiting to be played, and it wins again. It wins in every variation. But Dumbo here, right? So I had all the right ideas, but Dumbo here thought, well, I'm going to just move the king over here so I can play g4, g5, and open him up and mate him while he's still locked into this little box with his pieces. But he is coming out a little bit. So I better get a move on. You know, he played knight there, so I thought, all right, well, I'll play queen here, because I didn't want him swapping the pieces off there unhindered. And he played knight there, which is a terrible blunder. He's feeling desperate because his pieces are not covering good squares. So anyway, I took everything off, and he took back, and I thought, hello, I've got a nice piece over there. and I like that H6 move. He's got 2 minutes and 38 seconds. He sees I've got 2 minutes and 8 seconds left. He probably thinks, I know what I'll do, I'll attack him. So he plays rook takes pawn. Well, what I should do is pawn to rook 6, but I didn't. I took his rook. And then he took, and then I played pawn rook 6. Well, what's the difference? He still has to play this move, and I played queen there, threatening mate, right? And what does he do? Well, he played king there. He thought, I'll make a run for it. And then I thought, he's on my bishop. He's hoping I'll probably try to protect my bishop. I just pushed the pawn. I thought, I'm going to get another queen here. And that's going to be a checkmating attack. And so when he looked at that pawn move, and he thought, oh, that's it. That's the blithering end. But you might notice that this bishop here, in that little box, was what I planned for all those moves ago when I played E5. And I even prepared it with my little D3 and my little E3. And so I was preparing that as early as early as move 4. Right? When your bishop takes C6, D takes C6, D3. Yeah, as early as move 6. Okay, as early as move 6. And here we are at the end of the game where I've got a new queen going in, and my whole plan just sort of choked him like chicken. Well, I hope you've learned something about this technique, and it comes up in, often in the Nyezhmetdinov-Rossolimo attack. This idea of playing c4 and blocking in all the pieces on the queen side, particularly they don't capture the pawn the right way, right? You've got a couple of choices, which way, or they could take that pawn, and if they make a mistake, they pay heavily. Anyway, thumbs up if you like the video. I hope this where you're in chess school and you're learning to choke your opponent like a chicken. And I hope you've learned something here today, right? And even if you don't remember everything that we're doing here, even if just a little bit of it sinks in, well, you'll be all that much better a player for it. It gives you another weapon, right, in your arsenal to improve your chess game. Okay, so this is Chess School with Johnny Curtis, signing off. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget, subscribe if you're watching and you haven't already subscribed to my channel. If you'd like to make a donation, well, you've got my PayPal details on the video, and you can just make a small donation to the PayPal, because we certainly do need your donations to continue to make these videos so for your benefit. Okay? Thank you for now, and God bless your families, and take care, okay?